strip joints where like these girls kind of like they know, right? They're like, oh, we're gonna make money on this guy for sure, right?
This guy just came third in a Magic the Gathering tournament, and he is flush with cash.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Keith.
And I'm Hieu.
And this is Keith and Hieu Like Nerdy Things.
Whoa, that was going to be too perfect.
Yeah, right? One try.
One time. Damn it.
One try.
It's like a self-sabotage. You know what I mean? I can't do it. I can't be perfect.
You're like the Dennis Rodman of this podcast.
Oh, man. Love the segue. I love the segue.
How far, we will get into it and we'll talk about our weeks, but have you been watching The Last Dance on Netflix?
So I finished it.
You did?
2 days in. Yeah.
Is it finished or is it still airing?
I was upset when it just stopped playing.
There's still more.
I think there's a continue on to the story.
Yeah, every week there's a new episode.
Was it weekly?
Yeah.
Okay, so for anyone that's listening, we're talking about the Netflix special that just recently aired. Is it a documentary about Michael Jordan?
It's about the Bulls.
Like the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. Well, it's Michael Jordan, but yes.
Yeah, okay. It was trending, and that's why I watched it. And then
right
it's
now,
funny.
It's more popular than Tiger King was. Isn't that crazy?
So I watched an episode, and then it was like just kind of like an offshoot. I was just watching it. It's something that I normally don't consume, like that kind of media, like just sports documentaries.
Yeah, and you don't like basketball.
And I don't like I don't know enough about basketball to like it.
Fair.
Okay, and then and I don't watch any sport.
Yeah,
if we were to be like real like transparent, I don't watch nothing.
Yeah,
sports wise.
Yeah.
And so it was trending, and that's why I watched it, because I'm one of those people that I just want to see what it is. Watched an episode, got off of it. We were doing other things, and then the next day, you were like, "Hey, we should probably watch it. It's like trending, and it's like you said that exact same fact that it's more popular than Tiger King, which kind of lit a fire under me to finish it. So I binged the entire thing until probably 2 a.m.
Okay, but you thought it was just ending abruptly.
It ended abruptly for me because I didn't know what was happening.
Weekly. So we're coming to it late. It's been out for weeks now. But now there's, I think, 6 episodes
it only started
posted?
trending. So I watched 5 episodes.
Okay, there's 6 posted now, I believe.
Okay.
I've only seen 4.
Okay.
Because I came to it a couple days later than you.
Sure.
I really like it.
This is what it is, though. Like, every time I invest into something, like, I like it. Just like the Formula One TV show. Like, I'd never watched racing before, and then stupid me, I watched it. Not stupid, but I watched it, and then went out and bought a race car related board game.
Right, and you started watching people playing with toy cars on the internet.
Yeah.
So now you're watching people play NBA 2K on the internet. You know?
Before we get into the ripple effect of watching it, let's talk a bit about it.
Sure.
Did you watch it because of the fact that it's more popular, or why did you start it? Do you like basketball?
I don't love basketball. Of the organized sports, it's not at the top. Obviously, we live in Canada, so I did watch the entire Raptors run, obviously.
Yes, me too. And I didn't watch the entire. I watched the, like, if they were going to win the next game, so on and so forth. So, I didn't watch the first 2 games, I don't think.
Oh, you mean just of the finals too, right?
Yeah, so like just the final series of like them versus
against the Warriors.
Yeah. And then when they were about to win, then that's when I started kind of win the series. That's when I started. Right. So I didn't watch the first 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah. I watched the whole run. I was into it. Because here's the thing. Growing up, I did like basketball a lot. I liked the Raptors because when the team came, we were right at the age where like the
Vince
Raptors
Carter?
Logo, Vince Carter and the Raptors logo was so cool. So like everything I owned was
like
Raptors.
A Velociraptor.
Yeah, it was really cool.
So cool.
And then so I liked that. And then obviously Space Jam got me super hyped as a kid. So now watching this Michael Jordan thing, it just makes me want to watch Space Jam again.
Okay, so I was going to wait till the end of this bit, but I watched Space Jam again.
Nice.
Yeah. It just kind of popped up on my thing. So I was like, yes, I'm going to watch it, obviously.
That's funny.
Yeah. I even Googled toys because I was gonna buy the toys.
I had all the toys growing up of the Monstars.
So jealous.
Yeah.
I could only find a couple of the characters, so that's why I didn't commit and buy all of them. I'm
It's
probably
weird
gonna buy the new generation of toys. So like Pops is the new generation of action figures
Sure.
for me.
And
But,
there's a new Space Jam coming out, so
Yes, which we'll kind of like get into slowly. I want to kind of like circle back to the
of
show.
course.
Did you? So you liked it?
I like it a lot so far. Again, I'm only 4 episodes in, but it's really cool.
And like, what about it did you like? Did you learn something? Like, what? Why did you like it? Like, would you recommend it to a casual person that doesn't like someone like me that does not watch sports?
Yeah, I don't think you need to watch sports like to get it. Like the access they have is pretty crazy. Like it's pretty crazy that they had behind the scenes footage of like the 98 season and we're just seeing it now. Like that's pretty interesting.
Something I noticed at the beginning of the credits was in partnership with ESPN.
Yeah, it's their documentary. It's
Yes.
just on Netflix. ESPN made it.
Yes, but I don't understand. Like, has this footage been aired somewhere else before? Like, why is
No.
it like
They never
okay,
aired it.
that's huge in itself, right?
It's weird. Well, so I don't know if they get into it on the show. I don't believe they do, but Michael Jordan was very protective of his image. And I'm learning about that more now. I didn't know that. So, you know how, okay, so like let's say you're playing a sports game. So right now you're playing like NBA 2K or whatever.
Okay.
The players union has the right of all the players like images, like they're right. You know what I mean? So like the games can have all the players, like they don't need to make individual deals with every player, just every player's in the game, right? Well, in the 90s, Michael Jordan did not sign away his rights. So in the video games, like I didn't know that in NBA Jam, Michael Jordan was not in that game.
What?
Everyone else was in that game. He was not in that game. He had his own game in the 90s. So it's like something with that. Like if he didn't want this footage to get out, which is what I think happened, it never came out. Like he had full control of all his imaging. So
Why?
That's what's
just
really
because of
interesting.
how big he was, or like
I think so. And he could sign his own deals. He was so big that he didn't have to sign these collective deals. He could sign his own, you know?
like I knew he was big before, but after watching this, I didn't realize how big he was.
Yeah, definitely the biggest sports athlete, I would say, right? Still to this day, I would say.
Well,
no one has come close because there's players who you could argue, like some people, you know, think LeBron is better or whatever, but
I think points wise, he is better. Like he's on the scoring board. I looked it up, like scoring boards and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But okay, so
the game has changed though. It's hard to compare.
Yes, but at the same time too, though, I always think that like I don't know much about hockey, but every time I talk to someone about like, oh, how good Gretzky was, they're saying that the game was so different then. So like
it was
like he was
easy.
It was easy for him to just like shine. So sports nowadays, it's so much harder to be kind of like an outstanding player,
of course,
because everyone is so good.
Yeah, the worst player on a team was better than honestly some of the best players on the team back in the day.
Yes,
for sure. Again, if someone's a huge basketball fan and they disagree, I don't know enough about basketball.
Yeah,
like
me
for
too.
example, hockey, yes, it's not even close. But hockey is different from basketball because there's equipment. The equipment is better now. So that's why a player from the 80s and their goalies they were shooting on had such little pads and everything. Now they look like monsters.
But I'm thinking about like training wise, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
let's have that same mentality moving into like new age basketball. And again, I'm not a basketball person, but from what I think I know is that like I would assume it would be harder to be kind of like a Michael Jordan in this age.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure LeBron is like just is outscoring Michael Jordan.
Probably, but I just mean in terms of like fame, you can't compare.
Oh no,
like,
no,
even LeBron is doing a Hollywood thing. You know, he is going to be in Space Jam. He's in movies. He was in Trainwreck.
He has his own shoes.
Yeah, and he went to the Lakers to live in LA to be in movies. That's why he lives there.
Yes.
So like, I get that his footprint is big, but nothing can compare.
No.
I think it's the thing is too is like with the age of social media and the internet, no one can ever be as big as any of the old stars. Like think about like pop stars now. The biggest ones in the world, they can still never be the Beatles. Like there can't be a new Elvis. Like no one is singularly as big because just like everyone's big, right?
I think you're right. Yes,
because like think about who's the biggest like think about like Bieber or something, like people going crazy. It's still nowhere near like Beatlemania. Like, you just
No.
can't compare to what it was like before, right? And I
No.
think it was like that with Michael Jordan. Like, yeah, watching that show, it's like, oh my God, like he was legitimately
But
so
the thing is, there's also
famous.
like an era of mystery surrounding Michael Jordan, and I think the same thing with the Beatles, right? Like nowadays with social media, we know literally what they do on a day-to-day basis because there's like, Insta, what is that thing, like that daily whatever, I don't know, like when you can like post and see each other like doing moments every single day, like you can post your entire day physically.
Sure. Yeah. And you can
um
like cost your company billions like Elon Musk.
like right, where like in Michael Jordan's, all you know is like he won three, did it repeatedly and then went to the
Mhm.
Olympics, and like you don't know, so there's like this era of mystery, just like the
Like
Beatles,
him and
just like
Bugs Bunny
Elvis.
played on a
Yeah,
team. Yeah.
yeah. There was there anything about the show that kind of stood out for you?
Well, again, I'm only 4 episodes in, so the first 3 each focus on like one of the players, right? It's like the first one's Michael Jordan, second one's Scottie Pippen, third one's Dennis Rodman. Like, I don't know,
I don't
nothing's.
know. I don't know if I want to talk about this because I want to spoil it for you. But there was a moment that actually took my breath away.
Oh, great! Don't spoil it for me then, because like I said, I'm only on 4.
Okay.
Did you see the thing? Did you hear the news about Carmen Electra searches after it?
Oh, did it blow up?
Yeah, they said on like porn sites, the top search since
That's
her
amazing.
episode aired was Carmen Electra because like
That's
she's in it, and people are like,
she
oh man, she's
was.
hot.
Oh, she was I had a huge crush on Carmen Electra when I
Right?
was a kid.
Yeah.
So watching that kind of brought back just huge nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
It really did. Like everything about it. Like I remember, because of how popular the Bulls were, I remember
Mhm.
in like elementary school drawing out the Bulls logo.
Right.
Like out of every single sports, I don't watch basketball. I was never a sports person, and out of every single logo that I can think of, I drew out the Bulls logo. Like I can,
Right.
like it's like almost like it's a vivid, not a vivid. It's like
Yeah.
a distinct childhood memory of mine. Just like sitting there and tracing it out. I was like, man, like just something about that.
Well,
And
yeah.
I didn't know if it was influenced by. I'm sure it was influenced by the Michael era, but like I remember like sketching out that logo.
Well, like think about how when they were good, we were at like the exact age. Like, it's like 97, 98. We're like 10. When I'm
Yeah.
10, how influenced I am by that? Like
Yeah.
when he came into the league before I was born. So obviously I didn't see the early seasons, but they weren't good then anyway. So as soon as they got good, we were like right at the prime age.
Exactly. And then also what I did notice about the TV series was that when they started highlighting some characters, all those other characters in Space Jam like stood out to
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Like, what?
Isn't that funny?
Oh my god, those are the 5 players.
Yeah.
Like
right?
it was like an epiphany to me. I was like, oh, I get it. Charles Barkley. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I recognize
funny.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. Hilarious, the show. Just like, I'm just casually watching the show. Then they're just like, oh, it's Obama. You're like, oh, okay. Obama's on it.
I'm pretty sure that episode had Obama in it too. The one that kind of like took me by, like, it took my breath away.
Oh, so it's something in an early episode?
It was a moment. No, it was in the later episodes, but it was like a moment where I'm like, what just like, really?
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
crazy.
that was the reason where you were like, hey, it's more popular than like
probably
Tiger
is,
King.
yeah.
But it
I
was
don't know.
just that moment. And
Okay.
clearly you haven't hit it yet because
No,
we
I
would
don't
be
think
talking
so.
about it.
Sure.
Right?
No, I don't know.
So
I don't want to spoil it for anyone else.
It's definitely in the 5th episode, which probably is going to get you more excited.
Great. I'm going to watch more probably tonight. I really like it.
Yeah, me too.
I like it. And I really like the editing job. Like, it's cool. Like, I think they did a great job of the interviews. Like, I like whenever they show interviews with people and they're like, hey, I'm going to show you something that Michael said. And you watch like other people reacting to his interview. I'm like,
it's very meta.
That's a very good like technique. Like, it was good. And then
Yeah.
I really like the montages where they'll play like 90s rap and then show footage of him just doing crazy dunks.
Yeah.
Like, I spent all week listening to like old school rap.
Me too. I'm not going to lie.
That's great.
I Shazammed some of those songs.
That's great.
I also thought that our biggest fan for this podcast is going to love this episode. And I was going to say, like, the moment we finished it and then you told me that we posted, I would text him right away. I'm like, drop everything you're doing, Andrew, and watch this episode because he's the biggest basketball person I know. Oh, yeah. He's a gigantic basketball person.
Well, he's the tallest person
shoes.
I know, so that makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah, he has like all these shoes, like basketball shoes. He knows like everything. If I were to have a trivia night basketball themed partner, it would be him. It wouldn't be close. I wouldn't need to take 3 other people either. I would just take me and him, and we'd still win. Like, that's how much basketball knowledge he is. He took the day off of work to sit in line to get NBA 2K. Like, that's the kind of basketball person he is.
See, it's funny. I did that for hockey games, but not for
but this is now, though. This is now in an age where you can just download games, right? He's still waited at Walmart. Like, so that's I'm super pumped for him.
I'm sure he's already watched this then, right?
No, yeah. I'm super pumped for him to listen to us talk about and kind of, talk highly of the show, because I'm sure he's super stoked about it, too.
I just love a well-made documentary. It doesn't really even matter the topic. Like, again, I was not into Formula One racing. I watched that show. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This one, I'm so into it. And then it's like a true crime one, right? Like a good true crime doc is like, oh, it's so good. But then if you watch a bad one, it's like real bad.
You know it's bad. Yeah. I'm glad it's done well.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it is good.
Do you know that? Because sports always do make interesting ones, though. So ESPN... it's weird that this is on Netflix, because ESPN has tons of documentaries that look the same, and like they're like 30 for 30s or whatever are like insanely popular, but I just don't know where we're supposed to watch them in Canada, because we don't get ESPN Plus
for sure.
So I don't know where. It's
also the captivation posted. Like, it's funny because, like, even though Michael Jordan is retired, he still affects the world today, because like his shoe drops are a huge thing. Like, there's literally like an aftermarket, like whatever that word is called, of shoe drops for him, right? Like, Air Jordans are still big. Like, they still.
But does he have anything to do with it anymore?
Yeah, he gets royalties.
Well, he gets money, but he has nothing to do with the creative side.
I can't say. Like, I'm not a big enough basketball or shoe person to know that. I'm assuming he doesn't, but I know that he makes a buttload of money.
Yeah,
like,
of course,
in the like hundreds of millions. I don't know if it's yearly. It has to be yearly, but just to have Air Jordans on it, and to even see the whole story of the shoe, which kind of like, I was like, oh, there's a bit more of an understanding for me too, of like, okay, I can see why it was so big. Okay. The fact that on the show they're like, oh, we only wanted to do by the end of the year when we signed Michael $3 million worth of sales, and it went like 120 mil. I was just like,
yeah,
if you would consider a success, that would be a success. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's really good, and I think everyone should watch it. I don't have much more to say. I find Scottie Pippen's voice incredibly soothing. I could listen to him talk all day. It's the opposite of Dennis Rodman's voice.
It's funny because I didn't know that Dennis Rodman was a Bull, like a Chicago Bulls, and like I didn't know what his draw was all about. Like, I just knew he was kind of like an eccentric person,
friends with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, just and then for me to see this, I can see where. And why he's was kind of thrown into the spotlight, right?
Right. Dated Madonna. Jeez.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And then the Carmen Electra. I'm not gonna lie. I as well. The moment I saw that, I Googled Carmen Electra. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm being very forefront about that. So I contributed towards this spike in Carmen Electra.
To be fair, I didn't say she was Googled. I said it was on porn sites. But you do you.
I didn't. It's funny because I didn't look on porn sites about her. I just Googled her.
Sure.
Okay. You wrote a list this week, right?
Yeah, I did.
It's funny because I normally start with.
We didn't do a wellness check.
Quarantine. Yeah. Okay. So can I be honest about that? Last week we've done wellness checks for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And as much as like we spent quite a significant amount of time at the very beginning of it, and I'm not gonna lie, it kind of bored me a bit.
Sure.
Like,
so you mean like re-listening?
Maybe, and maybe put me down a bit.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, I'm sure everyone is about it, but maybe this week let's keep it kind of like a brief one.
Sure.
I think we went on. I had a great week, by the way.
Great.
Things are reopening, right?
Okay.
So like that.
What's reopening?
Garden centers.
The garden center here never closed, but anyway.
Okay. But I mean, like, it just feels like the stigma of like, stay away from people, don't go outside, like that is, I'm not saying it's.
I mean,
like
I feel you should still do both of those things. Of course, but
I agree. But it feels a bit lighter. It doesn't feel as heavy.
Okay.
That's kind of how I feel. Just being in healthcare.
Sure. But it can backfire because you work in healthcare. So
you're right.
If everyone goes outside and then you get overwhelmed.
You're right. Truly. But at this very moment, I'm feeling just maybe as a whole, like I'm just feeling it was a good week for me.
Good.
Even though I was like semi-queen. Good.
Okay, great. Let's move on.
Okay,
then.
moving on.
Okay, great.
We have a list. You have a list.
I do
right?
have a list. So,
Wow.
do you remember last week you talked about the show? Which was the show? Safe? Is that the show you talked about?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so, and then we found out after, like, I have to admit, I did not know who the author was. So it says big on the title of that, like Harlan Coben's or whatever, Safe, right? So I was like, who is this guy? And then I Googled it and I was like, oh, yeah, I definitely have heard of him. Like a writer, super famous. You know, he's had like 60 books or something. Sure. So then I was like, so then my plan was, I was like, well, I'm not going to watch Safe. I'll read it. Then I was like, oh, it's not a book. So it was just based off his ideas. So I was like, well, I'll just read a different one of his books. So I read The Stranger, which is also a Netflix show. So I read the whole book, though.
The Stranger is a Netflix show?
It is also a show on Netflix, but
Isn't
it was a book
there's
first.
A Crave show, too?
That's The Outsider.
Oh, okay.
And that's Stephen King. So there's a Netflix original called The Stranger because he signed a 14 show deal with Netflix.
Wow.
So it's 14 of his things are being turned into things. So I read the book, though, but I didn't see the show.
And?
It's horrible.
It's like bad?
It's so bad.
Oh, okay.
I was mad.
That really was going in a different direction.
Yeah,
I was expecting it to be really good. Yeah.
I hated it. I don't want to read any more of his books.
Wow. I'm pretty surprised right now.
I didn't
You're
like
not really complaining about books.
What do you mean complaining?
I don't feel like you complain a lot about books in general.
Yeah, because normally you don't finish something if it's bad.
So why did you finish it?
Well, okay, so here's one thing, without giving anything away. Books like this, where it's like crime books, there's obviously going to be a twist, right? So if the twist is stupid, the book is stupid, but you don't get to the twist until the end. So it's stupid. Yeah. So by the time you get to the end, you're like, are you kidding me? That was a waste of my time, which is exactly what happened with Gone Girl. So I'm assuming you saw the movie Gone Girl.
Yeah, I like the first half hour of it.
Yeah, so that's like the book. You like the first part of the book, and then you get to the end, you're like, well, that was a waste of my time. I've never been angrier in my life than when I finished Gone Girl until I read The Stranger. It's bad. Because here's the thing, too, is that the writing of those crime books, it's the reason why those authors can write 60 books, because they're never very good. But if the thrill and the like mystery is good enough, you can get over that. So some of the writing, I'm like, it's kind of weak, but like you can get over that if you're into it. So then I forced myself to get through, and then by the time I got to the end, I was just like, this is stupid. What a waste of my time.
Wow, this is a weird. I expected. So this was part of your good part of your week. Where's the good part?
Well, the week was good. I don't know. I liked The Last Dance.
Okay.
Anyway, I just want to finish one more. Well, I just want to finish one more thing about that book. Is that it's the classic, and I hate to sound like so like feminist or whatever, but it's the classic men suck at writing women. Some men, his descriptions of women are horrible, like so bad. I was Can you
give me an example?
So like. This is not a huge spoiler because like I don't want to say because like the show might be good. I don't know. So I don't want to say major spoilers, but just like so the synopsis of the book The Stranger and the show, I assume, is kind of interesting. So like a person is just at like a bar and then a stranger approaches him and like tells him this like secret about his wife. So what this like stranger does, again, it's not a spoiler, it's like the synopsis. They are like hackers. So they like learn things about people online and then they reveal the secret to like blackmail people.
Okay.
Actually kind of interesting. Okay. But like one of the secrets to, again, not a spoiler because you don't know what happens to them, but to like a mother is he tells the mother that her daughter, who's like a adult, like she's grown up, is on like a sugar daddy website. Okay. So I am not saying that if you were a parent, you would love to hear that your kid was like a sugar baby. I'm not pretending that would be good news. But the way they like shamed this girl is like shocking. They would be like, yeah, because they found out her daughter was a whore and all this stuff. I was like, whoa, this took a turn. Like, I understand. I guess it's like a form of prostitution, whatever. Like, I'm not saying let's be so sex positive. That's not, it was just like, it felt dated. Like, I feel like people that you have known in your life have done that. And it doesn't make them a bad person as much as like, a murderer. You know what I mean? Like they treated it like it was a murderer. I was like, this is a weird. Anyway, that's my spiel about that book. It sucked. Don't read it. Maybe watch the show, but don't read the book.
It's funny because as you're talking about it, I was gonna be like, "Oh, I need a show to watch this weekend," and I was gonna watch The Strangers.
Well, it might
and now
be
you're
fine.
like, "It sucked. Oh, I don't want to watch it anymore."
No, here's the thing though. Interesting, like topic, like interesting idea. So it could be a good show because also shows always change what happens, right?
Yeah, like to kind of fit the TV. I get it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I also wrote down that I did watch Seinfeld's new special. Crazy that he has a new special.
I did not. I've never watched Seinfeld. Seinfeld. How do I say it? Seinfeld.
Yeah,
I've never watched
not
anything
the show
about it.
though. Like his stand-up. So he hasn't done an album since like it's been over 20 years.
It's called an album. Like,
Well,
when you do a stand-up.
A stand-up album or special, whatever.
Okay, special. Okay.
I mean,
Sorry,
they used to come on CDs, so they were called an album. But I guess if we're talking Netflix, it's a special, not an album.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Netflix obviously paid him a buttload of money, though.
It's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's a Netflix original.
Was it good? Oh my God. Please say it was good.
It's pretty good. If you like him, it's good.
Okay.
It's not like mind-blowing. Like they must have spent, I don't know, probably 30 mil to get him to do a new one, is my guess. 30
well,
or
they
40
spent 60
mil.
mil on Dave Chappelle to do 3, right? So, yeah.
And they were bad. That's
I like the first one, Chappelle's.
Right. Yeah, they paid Ellen a bunch too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, it was not good.
Okay.
Do you want me to keep going, or are you going to keep going?
I can segue into the whole. I have a segue. So I watched Hustlers.
I don't know what do I know what that is? Oh, the Jennifer.
Yes. So
okay.
It was in theaters.
Yeah.
I remember seeing really like kind of glowing reviews about it.
Yep. People thought she was going to win an Oscar. Spoiler:
yeah.
She did not.
Okay. I will confess something on this podcast. I don't know if I should, but I have this weird, like, I don't say like not infatuation. I have this weird kind of like gravitational pull towards strip clubs. I don't know why. It's something that I do with my friends. Like I'm a 30-year-old man now, right? But every time we, it's an annual thing, to be honest. Every year we go to the States.
Is it the Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
Okay, that's so incredible.
Every year we usually go to the States to play in a big Magic tournament. Okay. Bunch of us go, and it's like they know it's like tradition that we go to the strip club, and it's like,
don't say it on the podcast. I'm not going to be able to come on the Magic trip.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
No one listens to it, so it's fine.
I know,
but and to be honest, there are times that no one goes. Like not no one goes. There are times that some of the members of the group don't go to the strip clubs because they don't care as much, right? I just kind of feel like when we all went at first, we're all young, so we're all like, yeah, boobies and stuff like that. So there was kind of like this youth about it to go and like kind of
youthful innocence.
Yeah, it truly was. And then when we went there for the very first time, American strippers are very different than like Canadian strippers. American strippers are very, very aggressive, which I find like aggressive, but not like fun aggressive, like playful sexual aggressive, more like pulling your arm to go have a lap dance, but you don't want to. Like, especially when you don't. Have you ever been to a strip club?
Never in my life. And I'm not just saying that for the podcast. I actually just have not. But it's because we live in a small town. And then we went to school. We also went to school in a town that's not huge. And so I never went in school.
And it's not like I don't have an issue with girls, or like it's not like I'm like a creeper by any means. I think I have just the best memories of a strip club for like when we go with friends. And normally when we go, we usually bring someone new. It's kind of like it's like, like Wonderland. Like when you're young, you went Disneyland. When you go for the first time, you just have this like kind of just fondest memories of this place, and you had the best time.
And you do that, but you swap out Mickey Mouse for like Candy, the stripper.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great. That sounds good.
But the thing is, as you go back the following year, it's not as fun, right? As you get older. But when you have kids, you go back to Disneyland, you kind of see that like joy that like you once had through your child or your kid or whatever. So that's how I feel towards strip joints. I don't go because I have a fun time there. I go because I usually bring someone new. Right? Because part of the Magic group, it rotates every year, like with someone new. And normally, because of just the kind of personalities that go, there's always like one or two people that have never went to a strip club before. So when we go with them, we bring one of them in, and it's just like the most entertaining thing. We like they go in real reserved, right? Like when one of the strippers pulls them into like the back room for a lap dance, they're like, "No, I don't want to go." They're super shy, and we throw money at the strippers, like, "No, just go, like have a good time." And then they come back out, they walk out slow, and they have like the biggest grin on their face. It's like it's worth every dollar, and you just know that they had a good time. You know what I mean? And
I swear that's just my magic deck in my pocket.
So that's why I go for like that pure enjoyment of just seeing a reaction. And that's just me as like a character, right? Like I just like just trolling and seeing people's reaction to things. And what better place than to take an innocent young boy and let him goes into the back, nothing happened, and then he comes out with the biggest grin. To me, that's like it's just a fun moment, and it's just kind of like that reminiscing of when I was younger. I was like, I remember that exact feeling when you walk out and you're like, yeah, that was the best time of my life. And then when they leave the Magic tournament and they go back and they reminisce, they're like, I remember that time when Hieu took me to strip joints. And I've heard stories about like Hieu and his like strip joint. That's just what I live for when I go.
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea how we got on that topic.
Hustlers.
Oh, okay, great. Good.
Okay,
tell me about
so back to the Hustlers, though. I didn't like it at all.
Okay,
great. So bad.
Isn't Cardi B in it?
She is for a little bit.
And Lizzo?
Yes, which was really out of place.
Okay.
But again, maybe because like I have this kind of facade and like, stereotype of what a stripper is, and like Izzo, it just felt odd that she was there. It just felt like they were just kind of like, like asking their buddies, like Jennifer Lopez is like, hey, do you want to be part of this movie with me? And just kind of bringing all their friends along kind of thing, right? Sure. But Jennifer Lopez did a really great job. She was like a great actress, and I can see why. I watched the review because the main character, and it's definitely me, because I thought she did a really poor job acting. I just didn't believe her the entire time.
Jennifer Lopez, someone else?
No. Yeah. Constantine Wu. Oh, she was like crazy. Yeah, she was on like Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah. You mean like I usually have a bias towards like Asian actors and just kind of Asian movies as a whole. And I was expecting so much when I first saw her. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great. But I didn't like her at all. And then I watched reviews of other people, and they all praised her. And I don't know why. I must be missing something.
They should have replaced her in the movie with Awkwafina. I would watch it if Awkwafina was in it.
Maybe. I don't know. It just didn't. You mean like I didn't know where all the hype for this movie was. Like I looked at Rotten Tomatoes. It was like all those reviews were great, and obviously those like nominees for like Emmys or Grammys or whatever it is. Like,
but they didn't get any nominations.
You're right, but
there was hype
still
that they
to
were
be nominated. Yeah. So still, I kind of had expectations, and it kind of let me down.
Okay. People thought it was going to be like female Magic Mike.
Oh, it was. I never watched Magic Mike though.
Magic Mike is good, and I don't care if it's Magic Mike 1 is good.
Okay, I'll watch it this week.
But literally for how much hate it gets, it's insecure people like men who are like, "Oh, it's gay, bro. I'm not going to watch that." Have a little fun. You can watch it. It's fun. It's pretty good. The first one. I'm going
to watch it. I'm going to watch it for sure.
Okay, good.
Okay. But yeah, that was me. Okay, your turn.
I think the biggest news of the week, other than Elon Musk's meltdown, so that was a big thing this week.
Great segue, by the way.
Well, you're asking me what's up with this week. I don't have anything else about strippers. I've never been to a strip club.
Okay, well, before we go away from that completely, is it because you were never interested in strip clubs, or you've just never had the opportunity to go?
Probably both. I lived in Toronto, so I could have went in Toronto to Zanzibar. I never went.
I went to Zanzibar.
That's funny. I've never been. We're so dorky that I was just like, isn't that a level in Halo 2?
Did I tell you my experience at Zanzibar?
No.
Okay,
you're just gonna skip over my Halo 2 joke?
I have all these like stripper stories, and without getting too crazy into it, a buddy of mine was having a bachelor party. He's super well behaved, and he's like, I called him. There was like a group of them. We're supposed to hang out. We're supposed to have a bachelor party at his house, right? So we thought it'd be like a board gamey bachelor party. That's kind of the kind of person he is. He's like super quiet or whatever. So I was running late. I was in Toronto. I was running late. And I was like, hey, I'll be right over. And they text me back, like, one of his best friends was like, hey, no, we're not at the house anymore. We're actually at the strip joints. And I was like, oh my God, when? But I didn't know that, right? So I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to go. So I show up outside. I park my car at Zanzibar. I go inside and I go to the door, and the bouncer was like, "Can I see your ID?" I was like, "Get my ID," and I'm looking around like, "Hey, has a group of kind of Asian guys come in?" And he's like, I don't know. Maybe there's lots of people here. I was like, okay. So I kind of looked around for them, and I was looking for my friend because that's the only one I like kind of really knew.
Okay.
And I was looking around and I couldn't see him. Place is not that big, right? It's obviously poorly lit. That's how strip joints are. But like I couldn't see him. And I'm looking around and I was like, are you like, I looked at the bouncer. I'm like, are you sure like a bunch of Asian guys like are not here? And he's like, dude, I don't know. There's an Asian guy on stage. I look on stage. There he is on stage, holding a banana between his legs. And I was like, holy cow. Like, that's him. And then I was like, I'm with the banana guy. And yeah, it was just
that is a good story.
Yeah, it was the craziest thing ever. Like a random quiet board game guy, and then he came on stage. He came off stage with his pants off, shirt off, no belt, and the girl was like whipping him. It was like one of the most entertaining. Again, that's what I'm talking about. Like the memories of a strip joint. I don't care about the girls. That has nothing to do with the girls. It's kind of like the stories that come out of it.
That's great.
Sorry, going on. Here we go. Your turn.
Well, I was just going to talk about Elon Musk's meltdown. I feel like he had a crazy week, and he had a kid this week.
He had a kid?
Yeah. Well, he also has 5 before this, so now he has 6.
Wow, go Elon Musk! I didn't know he had any kids.
Yeah. Did you? So you missed all of this?
Yes, I missed all of this.
You don't know
what busy doing other stuff. Apparently.
Do you not know what he named his kid?
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God. Can I guess? Can I get like 3 guesses?
You can try.
Okay, how about this? Give me subtle hints.
There's a number in it.
Okay. I'm gonna go 7.
I wish it was so innocent.
Okay. Is it 69? It can't be 69, is it?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna stop guessing. What is this name?
This is a hint. I can't pronounce the name. So that means something. So he named his kid.
Is it Avatar 646 or something?
It's pretty close. But here's the thing. It's because he's weird, but Grimes is weird too. The mother is weird.
Grimes?
The mother? Do you know who
the mother's
Grimes
name is? Grimes?
Well, she's a singer.
Story's getting weirder and weirder.
You didn't know that he was dating her?
I know who Grimes is.
Oh, she's a musician.
I didn't know Grimes is a person.
She's a musician from Canada.
What does she play?
What does she play? What do you mean?
Is she in a band?
She is a solo artist.
Okay.
You can listen to Grimes on Spotify after this.
Okay, I will.
They named their kid.
What a weird name, by the way. Grimes?
Well, that's not her real name. Her name
it's her stage
Stephanie
name
or something. Yeah.
Okay.
No, her name is Claire, actually, which is the most not Grimes. Okay, so they named their kid X, and then an A and an E together, like that symbol, like AE, which apparently it's like Elven, and it's pronounced Ash. So the name is X Ash A12.
That's not the name.
Yep.
So sorry. Let me try to pronounce that. It's X Ash what?
A12. But apparently A12.
How do you pronounce that in a flow?
Yeah. So then they said the A and the E together is pronounced Ash, and the A12 is a fighter jet called an Archangel. So they said that the kid's name is probably going to be Ash Archangel. So that was his week.
Wow. He had a weird week. I thought I had a weird week. That is a weird week.
Well, he also cost all of the Tesla stockholders lots of money. Did you see that?
No.
He tweeted, Tesla stock is too high. And then everyone sold. So he lost billions.
Of course,
billions. Right? He did that. He also went on Joe Rogan again today. I didn't watch that yet. He did not smoke weed on this episode, thankfully.
I remember when he went on, it was like trending everywhere.
Yeah. He also said, I will have no possessions. I'm selling my homes. So
what is happening with this guy?
Yeah, he's having he's also having a meltdown over the lockdown. He thinks that he's lost a lot of fans.
You told me about this last week.
Yeah, he thinks it should all be over. Yeah, so every week we're going to talk about how crazy he is. But the reason I thought about
We should
that,
do a weekly update on
how's Elon doing?
yeah, so not
Okay.
how we're doing.
Yeah, who cares
How is
about our
Elon
mental
doing?
health? His
Yeah.
is screwed. Anyway,
That's what
so
billions
so
of dollars does to you, apparently.
yeah, so he had a kid, and So anyway, so the reason I was thinking about Elon Musk though is because did you hear the Tom Cruise news?
Oh my God, why are you're so gossipy this week?
No, this is not gossip news. This is film news.
Okay,
Tom Cruise is filming a movie in space. And he's actually going to space.
I'm not even surprised.
Like, he's crazy. Like, here's the thing. Tom Cruise's personal life, yeah, he's a weirdo and not a good person. But like the stuff he does for movies is crazy. And it's going to be the first movie shot in space. They're going to shoot it on like the International Space Station.
Do we have a premise or a plot for this movie?
I don't think so. No, they're saying it's not
aliens.
No, they're saying
Please
it's not
aliens.
the next Mission Impossible movie, but some people think that's a lie and that it might be Mission Impossible. Here's the thing though. That's gimmicky and it's like crazy if it actually happens, but like you don't need to go to space to film a space movie. We can like the Avengers didn't really go to different planets. Like we just have computer generated like
yeah, Sandra Bullock didn't do her space movie in space.
Yeah, we don't need to go to space. So if anything, it will be a lower quality movie because we can't send all the camera crews to space. Like, is it just going to be filmed on like an iPhone? It's not going to be good.
Okay, well, give some props to the guy though. I will say that like the last Mission Impossible movie, that the skydiving scene, very well done.
I also heard that what's that called, a halo jump?
Yes,
I heard he did it 132 times to get the right.
Which
take.
Again, I'm saying that's really impressive. I don't know. I feel like there's a line. Like
sure,
doing halo jumps, sure. Going into space, that's a bit much for a movie. For a movie, that seems like a bit much.
He is like, that's the thing though, is that like, I will admit, as much as I dislike him and I don't like Scientology and all that stuff, he is underappreciated, I think, for acting. Like, if you watch one of his movies, he is like a legit action star. He's very good. And I haven't even seen those new Mission Impossibles that you love so much.
They're the best movies.
Yeah, I will watch.
Like,
I haven't even seen
from Ghost Protocol moving forward, that's number 4. The best movies, like truly, if you want a popcorn movie, that is the definition of a Hieu movie. Yeah. Truly is. Like, I would recommend all of those movies to anybody, and even if you don't like, it's like the basketball like documentaries and sports documentaries. Like, it's not your thing, but when you watch them, I'm like, yeah, they're actually really, really well done. It's really good.
Well, I will watch them because like I do think he's good. Like, I wish I didn't like him so much, but like literally maybe my top 10 movies is that Edge of Tomorrow. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite movies as well.
Man, it's good. Like, and that was at the height of like me really thinking he was a piece of shit. Like, and I was like, didn't want to watch it and didn't want to like it. And then I was just like, the whole time I was like, damn it, this is good. He's so good. I will agree. So anyway, he's going to space. That's all I got.
That was it? I have a couple more things on my list.
Yeah, please.
Which I think will round out the rest of the episode.
Great.
So I watched Justice League Dark. I think it's the Apocalypse War.
Okay.
I didn't know this, but that was the last of a 15 series of DC movies.
Oh.
So all the movies I've been watching leading up to this, it was the Avengers Endgame of the DC universe.
Huh.
I did not know this until I watched the reviews of it.
Had you seen the previous ones, though? Mostly?
I've watched all of them. I love them.
Okay,
I love them
you
all.
like those ones.
No, I don't love them as in like I would recommend them. I feel like it's like just like the Marvel movies every summer. Like, it's something that you have to do. So I watch them. They come out like 2 a year. I watch them all. And I mean, I enjoy them.
gotta get on those. I gotta get on that train. Because I have liked everyone I've watched.
Yeah, they're not. It wasn't great, but I did watch it, and then like I was. You mean like it was like the end game, but you didn't know there was an end game. Okay. And then when I heard that, it kind of like all clicked. I was like, oh, I think it started at Flashpoint. It's called a Flashpoint.
I've heard of that actually.
That one I actually kind of enjoyed.
Do you know that it's been a year since Endgame came out? I would have guessed longer. This has been a crazy year.
It has been a pretty wild year. Yeah, it's been a wild. It's for sure been a wild year for me too.
Yeah.
For in every aspect of my entire life, it truly has been like one of the most wild years of my life. Like personally, career wise, personal wise, just everything. It's just been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was like I watched it, and I the kind of the lead character is Constantine, right?
Oh, right. You told me that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't tell you because I watched
You watched Constantine, yeah.
recently with
Yeah.
like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. So is this character quite different from that movie?
He's very Doctor Strangey.
Okay.
But he's kind of more demony, where Doctor Strange is more kind of like mythical, like magic-y. Okay. He's more like Satan, like summon demons. You mean like I enjoyed it. I wish that the DC movies was as successful as the MCU movies, just like live action wise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's because I like the the trifecta a lot more than like the Marvel's trifecta.
Yep.
Just for like recognizable, like for me, I think everyone
cross your fingers, I guess, for the new Batman movie.
Yeah, I've always praised like Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman. Like I've always praised them, and like I know for a fact that like the Superman symbol and the Batman symbol are like in the top 10 most recognizable symbols of all time.
Yes.
Like I almost feel like I think I've heard like Nike's one up there, right? Like for the check mark.
Sure.
Yep. Like if you showed this symbol to someone, they would instantly know what it was, right?
I would
and
agree.
Like this, like you can't really show that to any Marvel characters. Like there's no
Spider-Man would be the next, but I could see someone not knowing, honestly.
Yeah, but if you showed them like the Batman symbol, you're like, that's Batman, or the Superman symbol, you're like, that's Superman.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah. So I kind of have this like, love for them, and I just wanted them to do better. And like the show was great. Like I would give it, I don't know, maybe like a 7. Knowing now that it was like the end of the 15 series book or 15 series movies, like it's like, wow, that's something. It was cool. It was good.
It's funny that we talked about the DC Hush movie for so long, and then it kept getting delayed. And then when it finally came out, I just never watched it.
I watched it. It wasn't that good.
That's unfortunate.
I think it's part of it. Is it part of it? I feel like it was part of it too. Yeah. It's like, yeah, there was like loose characters from it. Like I said, there was cameos from like all the characters. And then obviously this Justice League Dark was the final chapter in all 15.
That's interesting. So are they doing a bit of a reboot now, or do we not know what's next?
I have no idea.
Because I think no one knows. Those movies are successful for them. Like you said, that's the only
place. They do well enough. It's straight to DVD, right? Or straight to streaming.
Those ones are critically acclaimed compared to their live action, which everyone hates.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
2 more small things on my list.
Great.
I've been rewatching Glow. It's actually, it feels a lot faster the second time around.
Okay.
And
I gotta say, I've been Googling Alison Brie a lot. I don't know. It's weird.
Roro was like, hey, what would you suggest? And I was like, oh, like, because we watched Safe last week. So this week I was like, hey, you should watch Glow. It's actually really good. And it was funny. Like the pitch to her, I remember too. I'm like, hey, we should watch this show. It's about like amateur wrestling and girls. And she's like, I don't like wrestling. I was like,
no, it's the opposite of amateur wrestling. Professional wrestling.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Amateur wrestling is the Olympics.
Okay, I whatever. Maybe that's why she didn't know. But anyway, she wasn't too sold on it. And then by kind of a couple episodes in, like she was really like enjoying the show. So
it's really good.
It is really, really good. I didn't like the 3rd season as much, and I'm excited for the 4th season for it to kind of end all of it. But I didn't like the 3rd season much. But that's where we're at. We finished the first 2 seasons. They're shorter too.
Okay.
Like it felt longer when I was binging them. They're only half an hour, and they're like 10 episodes each. So you can probably finish it in one full day. Like if you sat there and just binged the whole thing and just ordered pizza and didn't leave your couch, you can finish it like the first 2 seasons in one day for sure.
Right.
Probably all 3 seasons in one day, which I've done.
I'll let you get to your third thing. I think you have one more, but
last thing.
To keep on the topic, I actually was pretty happy with Quibi because Reno 911 is back.
Are you stepping away from the mic? You sound really quiet all of a sudden.
Oh, Reno 911 is back.
There it is.
Yo,
Were you leaning back to talk about this? Like,
I really, maybe I was getting comfortable. I like that show a lot, and the Quibi one is exactly like the actual show. They did a good job, and I'm into it.
We weirdly didn't watch Quibi this weekend. Mondays are usually Quibi nights, but we didn't watch Quibi.
I'm waiting until we can do the streaming to the TV. That's why I haven't, like, I didn't watch the Liza Koshy show yet, but I did have to see Reno 911 just because I do like that show. It's really funny.
Okay.
Okay, you can talk about
Last
what
thing?
you want to talk about. Sure.
Well, before I talk about it, I'm a little salty about you, by the way.
Okay.
Last night we had a date. You and I.
Yeah.
You're supposed to join a couple of us to play Magic.
Yeah.
Still a bit salty about it. You did not join us.
I played Animal Crossing all night instead.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever. It is. I'm moving on. I'm gonna be an adult. We played Magic twice this week. Online Magic. It's been so fun. I've had such a great time.
So
like, truly,
I know that now you're salty and I've missed it, so maybe I don't deserve the details. But how does it work? I don't know how it works on TTS.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a big board game person, and
I think they know by now.
The digital equivalency of board games is Tabletop Simulator, where we've slang termed it TTS. And it's a program in which uses kind of like physics, and there are content creators that kind of copy like physical board, like Monopoly, and they kind of program that you can play Monopoly digitally in this program, Tabletop, TTS. And because my friends, all of us are on kind of like quarantine, we can't see each other. I usually see them maybe once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks to kind of just play cards. And I guess they've been a bit stir crazy and they can't not play cards. I've been playing cards with these guys for like 16 years.
Right. And going to strip clubs.
And going to hey, again, the memories, okay? It's about the memories.
Is there a tabletop strip club? Can we log on to Steam and we could go to a virtual strip club?
I'm not going to lie. There probably is.
That would be very uncomfortable to watch with you.
And so we all play Magic, which is like a trading card game. And there's programs that upload every single deck, every single card, and you can play it freely. Like I don't have to buy a single card.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, even if I didn't know how to control it, like you can almost manipulate it in a way. There's no script. Like it's just free. It's just like.
But that's a negative if it's not scripted, because then you need to know how to play really well. Or is some things automated?
They're not enough where I would think a new person could not like.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no scripting.
Because I might struggle then.
Sure, there are games on TTS that are scripted, right?
Yeah.
Like certain kind of like role playing games. But in this one, they just give you kind of like all the tools for you to play the game, and you have to kind of know the game to really.
So I'm saying,
like,
for example, like tapping mana to cast, you just have to do it yourself, right?
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
It's not scripted that way. I see.
There's no scripting.
Okay.
You mean there's like quick buttons to kind of like untap everything? There's pre-built decks that you just pull. So it's not like you have to make every single deck. You just play it. Like it makes it all easy for us that we just pull. Like there's almost 200 decks, and we pick one of the 200 decks, we put it in front of us, and then we just play it just like we're playing in front of each other. Yeah, I've been having I truly been having a good time. You mean like I'm a in-person thing? Sorry, in-person person. Like I like being in the kind of like the presence of people. I always have. So. Like I missed that part of this. Maybe that's why I've enjoyed it, because I've had these friendships for so long, and this is kind of like how I've kept these friendships.
How do you communicate while you're playing? What platform do you talk on?
We use Discord.
Okay, so you do. That makes sense.
Yes, we use Discord, and then we just go on TTS and just play it.
That's interesting.
You mean like there's advantages and disadvantages to using TTS, right? Like when you play in real life. There's times you can't really see certain things, and like it's hard to manipulate things, and they have to like physically looking for like dice or physically looking for certain cards. Through this, it's like a touch. Like
I like the controls of TTS as well. I find once you get into the hang of it, it's pretty easy.
You probably would have struggled a bit because
I don't know Magic anymore.
Yeah, but you mean the fundamentals are there, and I think anyone that has played Magic before, regardless of playing like using this TCS program or not, like there are kind of like tiers of decks, and I think there's like a lower level tier that you could have played and still enjoyed it. You might have not kind of caught certain interactions with specific cards as well as someone like me or one of the other guys that play all the time, but you can still maneuver through your deck in which you can like play cards and cast spells or whatever and maybe win. And then you mean like we're all kind of rulesy people too. So if we're doing something wrong, we all catch each other, regardless of whose card is good, because we're kind of always immersed in the game, so we kind of know what's going on. And that's what I'm saying is the best part about TTS is that we can you kind of like it's easier to keep track of everything. Like you can see other lands. Like in real life, I would have to like reach over or like kind of like do a sneaky peek to see what kind of they had, how many cards in their hand, or like what cards they're hiding behind underneath. Like with TTS, I don't have to be sneaky about it. I'm just sneaky in real. I mean, like you can just see everything. Like everything's in plain view. It's like having data in front of you that's just like easily accessible instead of like riffling through kind of paperwork.
That's fair. So how do you play if there's multiple people? Do you set up separate rooms or is everyone in the same one? Like, are you doing cross games or are you just two people are playing at once?
No, you can play multiplayer games.
No, I understand two people, but I'm saying like Magic is usually 1v1. Are like you playing against one person or is everyone at the same table?
Everyone's at the same table.
How can you do that though with multiple people?
So, so the basics of Magic is that everyone starts at 20 life, and whenever your life gets depleted to 0, you die. Right?
So can you play with more than one person?
Yeah,
more than two people. I mean,
you can play an infinite amount of people if you're willing to sit there forever and wait for your turn. You just have to rotate to your turn.
So anyone can attack anyone.
Correct. And
is that a popular game mode? I've never seen that before.
It's the most popular game mode currently.
Really? Is that new?
Yeah, it's called we call it EDH. That's the old format, but now it's called Commander.
Well, okay, so that's the most like for the, like hobby shops and stuff, but that's not competitive. They don't play that, right?
There's not
on like the
tier
main
1
tour. Yeah.
No, it's not Formula 1. It's like Formula 3.
Sure.
Like there are tournaments in which it's only EDH.
Yeah.
But not like big money tournaments.
Okay.
It's also more of a casual format.
Right.
And that's why I think we like it because it doesn't feel very competitive. A lot of times with kind of competitive decks, there's a lot of it's very quick. You don't have time to kind of like play really large spells. Where in EDH, it's all about just big creatures, bombs, stuff that you can never play before. It's really inventive, like how Magic has kind of maneuvered through all these kind of like different types of formats to kind of like appeal to kind of multiple play styles.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's interesting.
It's just like I don't know, like gardening. Like I can plant, I don't know, like a basic, plant in my house. But like if you were advanced, you can go and plant others, like real, like have like an entire like garden in your not your living room, you're like in your backyard. You mean like there's tiers of it, and with Magic there's also tiers of competitiveness, and we play it's in the middle of like kind of super casual to competitive, right? So it's like competitive enough, but it's also very casual. I think that you would have enjoyed it. I truly do.
I think I would have been a bit overwhelmed. I think I'm much more.
You would have been overwhelmed. I will agree. You would be very overwhelmed. I'm even overwhelmed at times. I played this game for 16 years.
Have more fun. Honestly, I didn't choose not to. I actually forgot. I was just playing the game. But I am more likely to.
I say I'm salty. I'm not.
No, I know. I am more likely to hop on one time though and spectate more than play. I think I'd be way too overwhelmed to play Magic on there. I like Magic on Magic Online or whatever it's called because it is scripted and I'm getting my hand held, right? So like drafting or something on there is fun to me. But I don't know if I could play that. I think I would be very overwhelmed.
Okay, that's fair. We should try it sometime just to kind of see what it's like.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we can go from there.
Yeah, that's
fair. That's it. I feel like I talk about the same things every week. I talk about board games. I talk about Magic.
And strip clubs. And last week you talked about your undies, so
Yeah, well, it was the primer to obviously the strip clubs.
Sure.
I have so many strip club stories. So many. They're so good too.
Every story I have is just from Magic Mike. So
I'm going to end on one specific story I remember.
okay, you have 45 seconds. I'm kidding.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so it's the same night as the bachelor party. Okay. So again, this is a group of guys. We don't go out much. Bunch of board game geeks, right? So one guy, one of us, probably one of the more shyer ones. By the end of nearing the end of the night, we're about an hour away. They kind of like called like, "Hey, this is last call for alcohol," right? And he was so shy.
Closing time, you'd say.
Let's call him Alvin. So Alvin was super shy. He was nearing the end, and out of the entire group, Alvin was the only one that hadn't had a lap dance. Right? Everyone else kind of like broke their lap dance virginity that night.
Okay.
I didn't go. Like I didn't have lap dance because, like, again, I don't go for those things. But we're like, Alvin, you have to go, man. He's like, he's like, I don't know what to do in there, and he's like, we're like, you don't have to know what to do. They'll do everything for you. Right? He's like, but I'm really nervous. We're like, dude, it's fine. Like, you go in, you're behind, like, there's like these separate rooms. There's a first time for everything, man. That's what we're telling him. Okay.
Can I just preface by saying this sounds like my worst nightmare, and I'm not just saying that. I would not be into this.
It's everything I love about a scenario, right? Like you put someone in an awkward situation and you kind of just like let them go off and do their own thing, right? And it's like you know that it's gonna turn out really well. So it's everything I love in situations. Anyways, so Alvin was like, I'm super nervous. I'm like, Alvin, like, what's your type of girl? Like, what do you like? And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what I've like. I've never kissed a girl before. We're like, okay, man. So how about we just we'll just pick one for you and then we'll just pay for it. He's like, okay, guys, if you pay for it, I will go with any girl. And that's when that light bulb clicked for me. We're like, oh, this is an opportunity to just mess with Alvin. So we picked one of these kind of like very muscular women. Like she was Spanish, but she was kind of more muscular. And we're like, hey, I remember her name, like Jasmine or something.
Sure.
So Jasmine comes over and all the strippers kind of walk around and they'll dance and like, hey, how are you? They kind of make soft conversation to try to introduce you. So I waved at her, and the moment a girl, like one of these girls, has someone wave and pull them over, they know that they're gonna have a lap dance, right? That's how they make their money.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So I waved Jasmine over. I was like, hey, our friend Alvin here has never had a lap dance before. And there's like certain language that you use in like strip joints where like these girls kind of like they know, right? They're like, oh, we're going to make money on this guy for sure. Right.
This guy just came third in a Magic the Gathering tournament and he is flush with cash.
Oh my God. Oh, it's the perfect setup. Okay. So we're about an hour in, and it's for those, the ranges of prices cost differently. So it's about, I don't know, maybe $30 per song, which is like 4 minutes. So for $30, you get like 4 minutes, and you do whatever you like. They dance on you and you touch them or whatever, right? Like, I guess whenever you go in initially, you kind of discuss the ground rules in which what can be done back there. And then you can go from there. But I know for a fact that Alvin wouldn't do anything because that's just not who he is. He's like afraid to even look at you. That's like kind of shy he is, right? Like he always looks down. Anyways, we're like, hey, Jasmine, can you just take Alvin back there and just have a good time with him, right? And so very reluctant Alvin gets like literally dragged by Jasmine, and we're pushing him into the back rooms, okay? We kind of had a rolling bet of how long he was going to stay back there. We're like around the kind of 3 song mark is where everyone kind of like is like, we're good. Like we spent almost $100 already, right? And this is when they become like more. It just like the novelty of it kind of wears off because like what else are you gonna do for? It's like a 7 minutes heaven,
sure.
Right? Past the 7 minutes, there's really nothing else to do.
Okay,
literally,
yeah.
So like at this point, we're at 12 minutes in, right? So that's where most people cut it. Most normal people cut it. Yeah. And for Alvin, we're like, he's going to last a song, at least one song. Okay. So here we are. We're all sitting there. We all make this bet. 4 minutes goes on. Doesn't show up. 8 minutes. Nothing. 12 minutes. Still back there. We're like, what is happening? 60 minutes. Nothing. 24 minutes. Okay. 28 minutes. No Alvin. He's still back there. 32 minutes. We're like, holy cow, he's past a half-hour mark.
Turns out they killed him, and that's what Hustlers was based on.
36 minutes, still out there. 40 minutes, still back there. We're like, oh my God, this place is closing up soon. 44 minutes, nothing. 48, 52, 56, 60 minutes. He's been back there for an entire hour. People were leaving.
And that's got to cost a lot.
$40 per 4 minutes.
Sure.
Okay. 1 hour and a half. He comes out. By this time, everyone's cleared out of the strip joint. We're the only group left. And as he walks off, he had his shirt inside out and backwards. Right? Comes out with a smile. All of us stand up and slow clap. It was like the best moment of like one of my most memorable moments at a strip club. We all sit there and we just slow clap and he had glasses on. He came out like exactly what you think someone they just got messed up from a stripper would look like to the T. And we're like, hey man, did you have the best time? He's like, yeah, can we come back tomorrow? Like it was amazing. It was the best. Oh my God. Yeah, that's my story. That's how we're gonna end. Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye.